we got more?
Oh yeah, there's 400 billion going to free pre-K, pre-kindergarten.
You said 400
Education,
billion?
that's a good thing. Okay.
You said 400 billion?
Yeah. We already have pretty much free fucking kindergarten. If you're in public
400
schools.
billion?
400 billion. 200 billion is going to
pre-K. You said that's pre-K, though, so those are going to be Head Start programs.
Yeah.
And usually those are in areas where, let's put it this way: those kids need those. I'd rather have those kids there at 4 years old at 7 o'clock in the morning at the school than the house they're probably living in.
Yeah, but that 400 billion, it could be
No bullshit.
A lot of administrative bullshit with that.
That's a lot of fucking cookies.
The bottom of the line is though. The bottom line is though. It doesn't matter what they tell us it's for. We never have the ability to. It's literally not like open book. We can't go in and say, "Hey, show us your books." Where did you actually spend the money on? I know you told us what you were going to spend the money on, but let's be real here. What did you actually spend it on? Let's see, because when those reports come out is when we go crazy and hear about, $10,000 smart toilets in the fucking Pentagon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whoa.
Listen, I mean, they need bidets.
Yeah, sure, it went to plumbing and infrastructure, but we didn't need to spend $10,000 per toilet.
Well, here's where I'm at. We're at 1.6 trillion right now. So what was the budget again? I thought it was only like 2 something.
It went from 3 down to 2 point, either 1.2 or 2.3, somewhere around there. But either way, exactly. I want you to keep adding this up because none of it makes any fucking sense. I'm gonna just go down. There's a child tax credit that's 200 billion. There's 150 billion for home care. There's 130 billion for something called ACA credit. 40 billion for a Pell Grant, 35 billion for Medicare, and 90 billion for other. It's just listed as other. Now this is just half of it. This is
hookers.
half.
That's hookers and blow.
Yeah. Well, that's 2.2
At
trillion
least.
right there.
At least.
That's 2.2 trillion.
Probably worse than
now. This is a separate bill, though.
You're right.
It's all one bill, but they're running it as separate because nobody was going. They knew that the first half was bipartisan; they could pass that. It's the second half that not only are the Republicans against, but there's a bunch of fucking Democrats against it because they want to throw more shit into it.
Right. It's not spending enough money.
Ocasio-Cortez and that J. Paul lady and that fucking the squad pretty much.
Well, they're spending money.
I mean, look, I'm with you on some of the outrage with this, but the thing that I really want to point out, my thought for this and for the viewers, this is all normal shit. Like, this is just normal budget.
Absolutely.
Shit. Like, no, but this is the dysfunction of our government, though. So we're all going to sit here and be upset over the 1 or 2 things that we don't like in the normal budget that they're funding, and they didn't do shit else. And now they're going to probably shut the government down again because we got to pass this normal funding bill, this regular bill that should have already been passed.
That's the problem.
This has been going on
forever. The first half of this is the normal funding. The first half, the whole human part of it is where all the pork comes in.
It just always feels like highway robbery.
Right.
That's the point I'm making is they put all the bullshit in there so they can argue about a normal discretionary. Like, we gotta. Pass
I believe it more if it was just like $30 bajillion to quote fix shit good.
Yeah, the whole thing could have been other,
And the bad thing is one of the senators made a point in one of the Senate hearings. 65% of America's infrastructure is privately owned.
Yes.
And privately maintained.
Yes.
So even the fucking or the 110 billion that's going to roads and bridges isn't even, that is gonna have. It's good. It's good there. So this other horseshit is not infrastructure.
Shit. That's what I want. What fucking assholes thought that was a good idea? And why are we still doing that shit? It's not a good idea. It's like trickle-down economics. Stop it! Fucking stop! No. You don't need to have... Bill Gates doesn't need to own the stretch of highway near his house. He's not going to do a good job.
Why wouldn't he?
No, actually, you're wrong.
You're totally wrong.
Most privately owned and maintained roads are actually in better shape and condition than their
That's why
municipally
there's
owned
turnpikes.
counterparts.
Them turnpikes are privately owned most of the time, and they are maintained
a
better
lot
than
of
the regular
turnpikes-
fucking freeways and roads.
They're
Listen, a
at
lot of
least
toll roads
managed
are
in.
owned by giant conglomerates
Yes.
out of Spain.
Yes.
And that's what. So they have essentially. They're able to use collection agencies, government collection agencies, in case of lack of payment. as
Especially
well.
Pennsylvania,
And-
because I owe them some money.
Yeah, but it's actually a thing, and
Yep.
it's a huge, huge industry worldwide.
I think the favorite, my pushback on this, and then I'm gonna let Alexa go because she started to say something we all talked over. But to
You
quote
talked
her,
over her.
But to
You
quote
talked
her,
over her.
no, it was
Yeah,
her.
it
Shut up,
was only
shut up,
you, man.
Listen, to quote her, I'm going to give you some pushback on this. I went through Chicago, and they still have the builder's fee on their turnpikes. They're still charging from when they built it like 50 years ago. They've already paid the fucking thing off, but they're still charging the same fee
Yeah, but
that
you're
they were
talking about
charging
Chicago,
when they
man.
built it.
Maintenance
No,
costs.
Good luck
Yeah,
at his roads.
it's not maintenance. It's like
Oh.
they're like, no, we didn't pay off the original investment yet. And if you look at their books, yeah, no, they totally did. They totally
Yeah, they're paying
did.
interest on the interest now.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting about that whole roads and bridges thing too. Do you know what's a part of that? A part of that is tearing away highways and getting rid of highways, because there's a lot of these cities and these we'll say urban groups that are bitching that these highways are stopping people from going through the hood, therefore taking away businesses and taking away money from those communities. So
Exclusionary road creation.
right.
Yeah, that's a
So
real
even
thing.
though they made these
Segregated
roads
you
so
with a freeway.
freight and people going back and forth to work,
Yeah,
will
no,
get there
no,
quicker,
it's a real
they
thing.
want to take that away. So
Yeah,
you got to
it's
go
a
back
real-
through the hood.
Look, if you've been to Cleveland, you can tell it's a real thing. You can't get on a highway in the east side without a 30-minute drive. There's no highways
real?
that lead over. Yeah, no, there's like, no matter where you are on the east side, it takes you 30 minutes to get anywhere because you got to go back to the nearest highway, which is like 15 minutes away. It's a real thing they did to these communities. It's not a joke. So I'm kind of
To get somewhere quicker without having to go through the bullshit.
No, homie. If you put a highway through and there's no exits in a neighborhood, that means that whole neighborhood is not getting that traffic anymore now.
Right.
Why would you get off there? They don't.
Right.
If you look at it now, 20 years down the road, they don't have as many food places. They don't have as many
Right now, I don't think there was some great plan to make that happen.
No, it
like
was
they
just
weren't like,
quicker.
"Fuck the East Side, we're gonna build this road." There wasn't some great. It was, but what they did was they kept up with what consumers wanted. That's not that's
you
a
want
cause.
semis
That
going
happened
down your
because
street
of
every day?
that happened
So what if
because
I-
of
what if I could
progress.
show-
The-
what
you
if
know,
I could-
part of
what if I
part
could
of this
show
is
you the
people
plan?
have to understand and be willing. Like your life is going to change as we adapt, as we grow, as the world changes. You have to as well. It's
What
not
if
you
I
can't just
spent-
sit in your little
what if
mom
we
and
had-
pop thing anymore.
what
It
if we
doesn't
had a
exist.
What if we had a one-on-one episode where I laid out how it was all actually a plan for you with facts and evidence? Would that change your mind?
Probably not.
She was like, fuck it, I'm
Then
done.
what are we doing here? Alexa, I was trying to give you the floor. Girl, you had something to say like 10 minutes ago. I'm
Oh,
Right.
Okay. Well, I think there's always a lot of pearl clutching when it comes to both the bipartisan and just the reconciliation infrastructure bills. But I think that's more of a problem with messaging, how we message the bills, because most people genuinely don't know what they're fighting about when it comes to where the expenses are, what we're trying to pay for. I will say with our infrastructure, we are rated number 13, which isn't too bad, but also we're allegedly the richest country in the world.
not good.
Our infrastructure. But as far as the human infrastructure portion of it, that was Biden's agenda. That was what he ran on. So in essence, the Democrats could have done, they could have passed it. They could have fired the parliamentarian. Republicans have done it in the past. If they didn't like their ruling, they just fired them, got a new one. But they choose not to do these things. And then they say, oh, climate is such a horrible deal that we need to act on it now. Biden has the executive power to do it. He has not done so. Same with the progressives. I mean, they've kind of caved in. Now I believe the reconciliation is down to like 1.5 trillion. And you have to keep in mind, these numbers, I believe, are over 6 to 10 years, as opposed to when we talk about the military budget, we never talk in terms of like, oh,
Really
this
never
is how much we're going to pay per year for the next 10 years.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
talk about it completely different.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, with the human infrastructure, I mean, if you voted Democratic, I mean, it's kind of a slap in the face that they're not really rushing on these priorities, like the free community college, that which, if you follow the money, that was killed by the college industry. That's why you see the Pell Grants and the grants in there. I believe the ACL.
But it was
the ACA.
What was the Pell? I'm right with you, Alex, and it makes me look. I'm kind of done. I mean, it's been a running joke for a while, and we've all kind of known it. But they really do just feed each other, right? I mean, you hit it right ahead. They could have fired the parliamentarian. They could have pushed their majority earlier on. They don't, because one hand washes the other. And it's just blatantly in our faces now. Like, yeah, no, we said we were going to do all these things, but we're not. We're not going to do any of that shit. I mean, where were the free what was the Pell Grant? 40, Marco?
The Pell Grant was 40 billion.
Yeah, 40 billion. 40 billion out of 2 trillion. Where's the free college? Where's the health care? Where's the minimum wage rates? Where's any of the shit you promised? None of it.
Yeah,
Be happy with
here's
what you
the
get,
problem, though.
peasant.
And
And
I've
the
seen
void
one
in
of
this
these.
conversation is if you look at what senators are trying to shoot down the human infrastructure or the reconciliation bill, you look, Joe Manchin is shooting down environmental stuff. Joe Manchin, the coal baron, who makes all his money from his family running coal mines in West Virginia, is in charge of regulating coal. Then you've got Kristen Sinema, who takes a copious amount of money from Big Pharma. Suddenly, they're not letting Medicare and Medicaid negotiate for lower drug prices, even though that poll is extremely high with both Republicans and Democrats, and it's something Democrats have been promising since the Obama administration. So, I mean, you couple all those things together, there's really... The Democrats are probably in some hot water now because people are going to ask themselves, why should we continue putting you people in office if we said we were going to give you these things and we've continued to fail to deliver?
I mean, I said this 2 or 3 months ago, and then I'm going to let the upside downs go. You know, say what you will about the Republican Party. They get shit done, right? Every time they're in office, they get sometimes horrible shit, but they get shit done. They just they use the power that they were given. The Democrats are always like, well, we can't do this because it wouldn't be right the other side. So I'm kind of at a loss. Like I don't want either side to win anymore. Honestly, I want a third option. I really do, but we're all too split for that. Go ahead, Upside Down Studios.
All right. Here's a little bit of what I got to oppose what Alexis is saying. Alexa, damn it! Now you got me doing it.
Your name is Alexis now.
First of all, this infrastructure bill, infrastructure is infrastructure. That's why a lot of people are bitching about it, because infrastructure is supposed to be for our cities, our roads, our fucking, shit like that. Like what infrastructure is. The rest of this bullshit is they could put this in something else, which they have been doing.
I'm pushing back. No.
Now here's my biggest issue here. We have lower drug prices. Nobody remembers fucking Trump dropped fucking drug prices like crazy. Motherfucker, my Cialis went from $325 to $35 fucking dollars to $35. So I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm watching it. With
My boner pills got cheaper than the ones in the gas station.
Was literally raised to $400 a vial. Like what? 2 months ago, we have low drug prices.
No, 2 months ago
it was low word.
I don't
And
think
that was part of
listen, I don't think they can hear you.
The same drugs that are on sale in Canada
Now they
for
can.
$7 are on sale here for $300. Fuck out of here with that shit.
They did lower them. They can be better, but they did lower them.
Your people are
Yes, my people lowered them. That's what the fuck did.
I spoke to a Republican. I sold it. I felt dirty. Hardcore Republican from New Jersey was telling me that he literally just got off a flight from Canada with $2,000 of his drugs for the rest of the year.
Right.
Because it's cheaper in Canada.
Right.
Hey,
There's people who are going before the anti-abortion shit.
And libertarians would allow you to travel for medical procedures.
And Trump was giving
bring
people
those drugs
the
back
fucking
into the
option to
States.
go across state or to cross wherever with their insurance to get the cheapest amount. But everybody forgets that. Nobody wants to look into that because the Democrats all were against that.
No,
and as far as the $15 an hour, yeah, y'all got the $15 an hour. Nobody wants to fucking work. Why? Because you constantly got your hand out and it's cheaper to fucking sit on your ass.
Even without being mandated. Businesses,
I
at least
have
in...
something to say as someone who works in hiring. Once we cut the unemployment, we did not see more people going back into the workforce like originally thought. There's been kind of a great rethink in American culture.
Yes.
As long as that money is getting handed out and handed out and handed out.
It's not getting handed out
it's
like
not
you think
the
it is
money, Marco.
anymore.
That's what we're
She's
saying.
right. She's
the
right.
unemployment.
People decided, you know what? Yeah, I will go back to work when I can work somewhere that respects me, when my time's respected, when I'm valued for what I actually do, and when I'm paid for, what I paid properly, when I'm compensated well.
So
and
while you're sitting at home wondering your worth,
I can
your
attest
fucking
that
lights
in
are
our
getting shut
area.
off.
In our area, businesses have responded. Even fast food joints have responded. We just passed a Chick-fil-A on the way in here that's hiring at $14 an hour. There's places that have sign-on bonuses. They've responded in
still
that.
nobody's
Without
going,
the
though.
government. Wait a second.
Without government.
Without the government having to get fucking involved. Business has started to do it.
Well, because what happened is people, it's like Alexa said, people woke up and they're like,
Right.
I'm not,
They said, I'm not going to fucking put up with that bullshit anymore.
I've talked to people, again, for those who don't, my job's
for
on the
them.
phone. I make 120 phone calls a day. I talk to people all day.
What?
There's people out there who literally are just like, yeah, I spent 2 years off with the pandemic. I was on unemployment, and it's like, I'm not going back to a job that doesn't pay me enough to live anymore. I'll go to school, or I'll take something else. And there's a lot of high-paying jobs being taken right now. Jobs like what I do, where I literally am a cold caller. We're getting employees because people are like, yeah, I'll take a job that, like, I know it sucks, but it pays well. That's what I want. I want something that will pay me enough,
Okay,
So
let's have a show of hands. How many
When I come
people
back
have
now.
been on a job and they were told
Grab one.
that they are replaceable? I have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while, but I mean,
Okay, no, that's fine. But realistically, that
I
was a
believe it.
tactic used for decades
Yeah.
to put people in a state of fear. And the fact is now, it's not just, hey, I need a job. It's, you know what? I'm tired of being treated like shit.
Yeah.
All,
The whole
the
generation
fact
is
that just
woken up.
saying please and thank you goes the distance saying, hey, thanks for being here.
And before
thanks
we
for
let-
showing up on time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, before we let Marco go on his tirade that I can feel coming by the hand wave.
My turn. My turn.
It's a good thing. It proves the point that they could have been paying living wages the whole time.
No, it proves the fact that the market's forces of supply and demand, when let to actually do what they do, will actually produce a result faster than any sort of government legislation. Boom!
True that. Mwah. All right, Marco, what do you got? Hold on. Let me just go ahead, Marco.
All right, and I'm sure the men around me will agree with me on this. While you guys are sitting around whining, pissing, and moaning,
They can't hear you. Oh, wait.
motherfucker.
Oh, no.
Are you done? Are you done
I
playing?
just picked my headset up. Go ahead.
All right. So while you guys are whining, pissing, and moaning how much you're worth and how much you don't want to be treated like this or that at a fucking job, sitting at home not working, contemplating that your lights are going off, your kids are going hungry, your clothes are getting raggedy, your insurance isn't getting paid, these high-ass gas prices, none of it is getting put in your gas tank. That's what happens when you contemplate your worth or you're whiny or you get sick and tired. You go to work
Okay,
to
so
not
can we stop
for
the camera?
to get
Is that
treated
possible?
good. You don't go to work to get treated good. You don't go to work to fucking to have a fashion show or to have friends or whatever. You go to work for that fucking money to bring home and better your life. Once you get to that point, then you can tell that job to go fuck off. Then you can go tell whoever or whatever is fucking putting food on your table, whether they call you a piece of shit or not. They are the ones that are putting food on your table. You had the choice to fucking work there, and you did. And the option is being fucking broke, being on welfare, or being worse.
We're choosing other options and doing okay now. So I don't know, man.
Where? Other people, you know what the other option is? Oh, there's got to be another stimmy coming. There's got to be another stimmy coming. Do you know they're going to start giving fucking illegals $450,000 a piece for pain and suffering?
Fuck that.
For breaking into the U.S.? That's real.
Here's what drives me nuts, and we're playing 10 seconds of my time.
Give me that
Alexa just told you that she's a hiring manager, and she's been talking to people, and they're not sitting on government stimulus. They want to go back to work. They're just not taking the low-paying jobs anymore.
And I absolutely, she's 100% right.
Back. And I don't think they ever will. And
I've talked to the majority of the people I've talked to. It's the same thing.
If I had to work a low-paying job or sit and watch nothing come in, I'm working that low-paying job and maybe get another one. It fucking sucks, but that is what I'm gonna do.
Right,
be a fucking man and take care of your family.
I don't disagree.
Here's the thing. I mean, if you look at, there's a great resignation. I think the media is calling it now. You look at workers going on strike, workers refusing to work, and these companies, like I know myself included, as a manager with salary, I had to work 90 hours a week because we just couldn't get the staff in at what we're paying. And the people were fine. Sure. Companies, though, we were all hurting really bad, and they still are for people. So
everybody around my area is fucking hired.
Yep.
From Girard to Lowville to Coys, every fucking buddy. There's no excuse for anybody right now to not be working. And the only thing it is I'm not going to work for less than this. I'm not going to do this for that.
Reclaiming time. You're still on this, dude. I don't know how Jared can be in the same room with you and get it, and you're not getting it. We're not talking about people who aren't working, bro. We're talking about people that are choosing to not go back to jobs like McDonald's and Starbucks and Taco Bell because they're not going to work 2 jobs to make minimum anymore. They're not going to do it. We're talking about
it's 15 now at McDonald's.
There's a lot of people that are changing industries.
Yes. We're talking about the market adjusting, Marco. We're not talking about lazy people.
Yeah, the idea is that people have been told for a long time that a low-paying job, well, if you don't like it, get something better. So they're saying, okay, bet. Let's go get something better.
Exactly. But you don't do that with nothing coming in.
And now you have. Well, no, I think there is a little misconception on your end about how many people are actually sitting at home on some kind of welfare. I think there's
the big misconception is on you guys.
I don't think you're accurate in some of your.
It's not that many.
I don't think your information is as current as it could be.
There was a whole, I don't know if we did a show on this or I watched a documentary, but the unemployment numbers have been inflated for the last 40 years. They measure it wrong. They measure it wrong on purpose.
Yes.
You watched a YouTube
but
video.
I have always been in favor of basically what is going on now, which is, if you notice, there are more industries that are finding ways to unionize and get representation. I've never been in favor of heavy, passing laws for union benefit, which, Democrats have historically done. But I've always believed in collective bargaining and union representation as your choice. Like, the workers need to decide, hey, we're fucking done with this. We're going to band together, and us united together is stronger than the ownership, is stronger than the management, and then we can get what we want. When it's done that way, instead of mandated from the government, I'm not for mandating $15 an hour. But what I am for is workers in an industry getting together and unionizing and making that the minimum standard in their industry.
Yes.
Right. Well, that was the original purpose for organizing laborers.
Right.
The idea was for no more kid labor.
Right.
Having a
safety
a
standards so
off.
people aren't dying needlessly.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys. I want to ask Dino and Jared this specifically, and then we can all chime in. And we got to hit our sponsors. I don't know what to call this philosophy, but I noticed that McDonald's has been testing robots in some of their kitchens because they can't get staff now, right? And for the longest time, we've been hanging on to those jobs that might be automated because people need those jobs. Well, now this push is we're moving towards automate, and I'm kind of okay with it. I'm like, look, if you can't make enough profit to pay a person enough, then replace that with robots.
Listen, it's only a matter.
Okay with it.
It's only a matter of time. Every industry has found a way to automate, has found a way to streamline. The auto industry. People used to weld everything together. People used to fit and assemble everything together. Now you have hundreds and thousands of robots and welders and machines that work simultaneously and intricately together. But that still requires. That still requires educated, knowledgeable workforce to take care of it, to program it, to build it, to set it up. We don't lose jobs. When we lose this job, we gain this job. People need to be willing to adapt. We can't. I noticed, like, with my generation, we got so hung up on it being just like our parents, where you were going to get hired into a company, you were going to work there 25 or 30 years, you're going to retire with a pension, you were going to buy a house, it was going to appreciate, you were going to pay it off. Like, that shit doesn't happen anymore. Like, the world's not even built that way anymore. People have to adapt and change along with society. If you want us to progress, you want us to modernize, you want us to, like, you have to be willing to part with the past.
Dino, what do you got? Then Alexa, then we got to go to sponsors. Let's keep them short, guys.
In all honesty, I totally agree with that, is that when there is an industry that is automated, what that should do, which it hasn't in the past, and that's also an issue, is that should significantly reduce costs to the end consumer.
Correct.
And number two would be that it should create an influx. Like, look, I'm not sure who it was that mentioned, I think, Ryan, it was you, was that, you know what, I'm not going back to a shit job. I'll go back to school because, you know what, this was dog shit. I have an opportunity to restart, and you know what? That's exactly it. Is with automation comes a new opportunity for creative growth with regards to intellectual jobs or using your skill set in a different way. Simply put, what we're doing here is one of those aspects, right? Okay. And it makes total sense.
Alexa, what do you got?
I would say with the rise of automation and kind of staying in line, we need to adapt. I think the government needs to adapt because that basically, shows the meaning of why some of these policies in the reconciliation bill might be necessary. Because as these low-wage jobs are eliminated, truck driving is going to be eliminated eventually, package handling, all of that's eventually going to be eliminated. So we need a higher educated population, even if that's just 2 years, even if that's going into the trades, that's where the jobs are.
Retraining, yeah.
And the government needs to do something, because we got into this philosophy in America, probably, during the Cold War, where we don't want anything that is even close to socialism, which in this country we've defined as the government doing anything. So we basically disbanded our unions. So the government probably needs to do something to encourage unionization, because since the Reagan era, they've done stuff to kind of break up unions.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gone in so favor of the one way that all the benefits of automation are going to be reaped by the top 1%. We're not going to see that really trickle down, to these low-skilled workers unless, something is done.
So here, I'm sorry, we really should have plugged sponsors 10 minutes ago. But you're hitting on the closing comment I wanted to ask our viewers before we went to. So look, obviously automation is supposed to, like Dino said, benefit the community, lower prices. If you're not paying a person anymore, if robots are doing it 20 times more efficiently, that cost saving should come back to us. If it doesn't, I would radically be for an automation tax. Like if McDonald's, let's just use an example, and I want to ask this to our viewers, then we'll get back to it after sponsors. So viewers, then we touch on it after sponsors. If McDonald's replaced all of its cooks with robots, and now their profit margins have gone up because they're not paying employees anymore, and they're still keeping their prices the same. Let's say maybe they even increase their prices for a burger now. I think there should be a tax on those goods. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and I want to get to our sponsors now. So first and foremost is going to be Ohio City Barbecue. Ladies and gentlemen, Ohio City Barbecue is not a giant evil company. They're locally owned and prosperous. You can go check them out. Just mention Eargasm Comedy for 50% off of your food. Also, what the heck?
What the fuck was that?
I have no idea.
He was running to get some Ohio City barbecue.
I was.
That's where he going.
Also, don't forget, if you're looking to buy or sell
He
your
was
first
like,
home,
pork!
it's Breaking Equity, 216-306-I-BUY, 216-675-SHELL. You can go check them out. They will help you get your first beautiful home, and they're the pros in the business that love us, so we love them. Moving on to the next thing here is going to be this contest that we're running, and I'm getting ready to share my screen. It's going well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're giving away $50. We're going to be doing this until the end of the month. It's super simple. It's 3 easy steps. So this is the Eargasm Comedy page. You are most likely watching it on here. Hey, if you're watching or participating in the show, give us a like or a share right now. Make sure it goes to your profile. But when you go to our page, you just scroll down. Okay? Right here at the top, you're going to scroll down until you see Invite Friends. I've lost it because I'm an idiot and I wasn't paying attention. I'm so sorry. I just had it like ready to go and now it's gone. It's beautiful. Anyways, there's a little button that says Invite Friends somewhere on this. Invite friends to like the page. That's all you're going to do. Invite your friends to like the page, and it's gone. I can't find the freaking thing. Should have had somebody else do that.
Yeah,
But
see
anyway.
what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I
There
think
it
a
is.
lot of
There it
people
is.
aren't joining because they don't. Where's it at?
Look.
I've already liked it. Let me see if it's this 3. Yeah, there you go.
Invite
so
friends.
Three dots on the top, right next to your profile picture.
All
Oh
right.
my God, I'm on a show. What are you doing? I'm literally live on the internet. You can see that. Like is your page. Invite your friends. Click invite your friends. Your friends list will pop up. It's probably going to crash my computer now because I'm working with a Dell 2001. And then you just go ahead and you can click select all. You can click on people individually, and you send your invites. That's it. Take a screenshot of that page, and you could win $50. Our goal is to get this little number here that says 2,000 closer to 3,000. We've been trying to do that all year, so help us do it, and I'll give you $50. Cool.
You kind of had the win blocking most of what you were doing, just so you are aware.
Right.
Yeah, there are 3 other people in this room that know how to work this thing and could have easily taken that down for me. I want to thank you guys. Thank you. Good job, team.
That's the type of efficiency we see in government workers.
This is 100% a government job. Thank you. There are 3. All of you people saw that. Nobody said a fucking thing until I was done. Thank all.
I thought you
I
were using it to
pointed.
cover their names.
I was
Very
trying to
good
point.
Yeah.
No, they can hear me through yours.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that's it. We're back on.
So we're gonna hit our
uh,
second topic. I know you
We're
don't
gonna
want
hit
to
our
touch
second-
on it.
We're going to hit our second topic at the end. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that automation tax first.
Well,
First of all, I want to speak on the whole automation thing because here's something where everybody keeps missing right here. Well, if one workforce goes, there's always other jobs. So when did it become okay to take a whole entire workforce and make them fucking poor just to bring in a new workforce and say that, oh, well, we opened up all these new jobs or whatever. Yeah, but you eliminated all their jobs. So you're right back
Literally,
at the
it's been
same
going on
spot
since the
you were.
beginning of time.
Right, but
Literally, no. Shut up, because Jared's right. Literally since the dawn of capitalism.
exactly, and that is not cool.
Not even capitalism,
I
just
reclaim my time
civilization.
because I was not done.
Marco, let him have his turn, goddammit.
Okay. Literally, since like we went from harvesting shit in fields to moving to cities to work in factories, that long.
Since before that, that's why we invented
the
tools
invention
from
of
the
the wheel.
beginning. The invention of the shovel, the knife, the hoe. I mean, we have
Right,
always.
but there was always something for the other people to fall back on, and that isn't that now. When you guys started talking about the re-education, now that makes sense. But here's the problem. Motherfuckers keep bitching and moaning about better work wage and better this, better that. And to the point where, the companies either have a choice whether to make things better or make things better for them. And what they do is they make things better for them because of what you chose. So now you don't have a job or a better job because they decided to automate, which created another corporation that you guys hate, that is the bad people. Right. And now you want to blame them and tax them because they did something that you caused. They gave you $15 an hour. You still don't want to work there. So they took your job and gave it to a fucking robot. And oh, lo and behold, they make more money. Now you're bitching because they don't want to drop prices?
Dude,
No, but they haven't dropped prices.
They
That's
haven't,
traditionally
ever.
Right. That's
automation
what I'm
has
saying.
caused
You're bitching
zero
because
change.
they're not
Depending
dropping
on-
prices.
Now, I have not researched that, Dino, and I was actually curious because I mean, for a while, I know in the very early beginnings of the auto industry, that's what actually put vehicles in people's driveways.
Correct.
That's what it was able to do. You know, that's what brought automation is what has brought a lot of things to our households that we never would have had before.
So there's two sides to that. Is number one is the actual idea of mass production. Building things by hands takes longer and more expertise, right?
Correct.
Then automation theoretically should offer a better price point. But what we've seen is once things it's similar to like Uber Eats. It was cheap in the beginning, and now that we're all hooked,
right?
Well, now the price is
But
going
that's
up.
not automation's. That's where I wanted to go at
that's a
Ryan
company's
about
fault.
the not no. It's not their fault. It comes out like you said. It comes out in the beginning, and it is cheaper. It's offering that. It's getting passed on to us. Then the demand for the service grows so much that the company goes, "I've got a fucking commodity." Profit is not a dirty word.
True. Now,
and
here's
the government should have no say in how much profit a company should make. The consumer. If you don't like it, don't drop your dollars there. You have in a true capitalist society, economy where we aren't a free capital society, not what we have now. We're not. They're protected. They're guarded in a true open free market. The consumer has the most power in what companies will and won't do because their money. But that's not how it's set up. Those companies are still protected. They still get money from the government. They still get tax breaks. They still get so they don't necessarily always have to do what's best for the customer.
They don't anymore, and that's the point I'm trying to. I want to.
If you make it sink or swim, we don't need to make. The government doesn't need to make automated companies more accountable. They need to get the fuck out of the way so the consumer can boot who the fuck they want.
Come on.
I have something to say about that.
But I want to chime in right with what Dino was saying, right what Jared was saying. Ford, literally when Ford started this automation process, okay, capitalists used to think that they had a debt. Seriously, who and why?
What the fuck?
Yeah, what is that?
All right, if that's you, just mute yourself. Capitalist companies like Ford, they used to feel they had a debt to society, right? So like when Ford automated and he was making all that money, he raised the wage in all of his plants. He created pension programs for all of his workers. He created medical programs for all of his workers. Like he did that because he felt that he owed society that.
Right.
The problem that we have now is they don't do that, and there's no one that forces them to. So what we're saying is if we go automated and McDonald's is now taking all this profit and they're not employing people anymore and they're not giving back to society, it should be clawed back.
No, society needs to stop buying Big Macs then. They need to stop rewarding the behavior.
That's it.
But see, then that's the individual person's fault.
That's what the whole problem.
Government is not here. Here's what the government, especially the federal government, should be responsible for. You know that paper that's written on the Constitution? If it is not specifically spelled out for them that it's their responsibility, if it is not something that is specifically given to them, then they have no right in touching it. It then, by default, becomes a state issue, and then past that, it filters down. The idea that we need this big, huge, overseeing, like...
It's not that wild of an idea.
It's what has fucked things up.
No, it's not, because it's what created the union movement in the first place, dude. They got out of control 100 years ago in the past, and we had to bring them back under control. We're back there again. Go ahead, Alexa.
Okay, so with kind of corporations and moving to do things to lower the price on consumer goods, I mean, if you look at the current inflation we're seeing, it's all caused by corporations doing things to lower the price of goods because we think it's by government spending. But if you track actually what is causing all of these prices to rise in the specific sectors, it's because we have globalized our economy in the pursuit of short-term profits to the point that we don't manufacture anything here. Currently, there is a drought in South America. That is causing coffee prices to rise because coffee production is going down. There's a coal shortage in Europe because as China's business has started roaring, they're rationing coal now, causing a coal shortage in Europe, which is basically making the price of our meat go up. Gas prices are always wonky. So that's where the government, I'm not saying we need a big overarching government, but the government does kind of need to step in and do a little bit of course correction, because I think we used to, go a lot more by a Keynesian model, but now I think we're just going full Austrian and just saying, hey, do whatever you want, because capitalism, I mean, think what you want about it. I have a somewhat decent, probably better than Ryan's opinion of it, but if you look at it, capitalism, the main tenet, people are going to act in their own best interest to increase their own profit maximization. But as corporations do that, they're not really going to think about the greater good of society or think about how this might affect the entire market as a whole. So following that invisible hand, the government typically does need to step in.
Greg, did you want to say something?
No, I was trying to get everybody's attention for her because she was trying for like 20 fucking minutes to get.
We were all paying attention.
Right.
Sorry, Alexa.
Right.
Alexa.
I'm sorry. I should be barefoot and pregnant right now in the kitchen, so I don't know.
I think Ryan.
Not my
Okay,
kitchen.
let's put into perspective how this works and where government is failing and not failing, right? So recently there was news about the government having a meeting with auto producers around the country with regards to electric cars and building that infrastructure. Tesla was not invited to that meeting.
Right.
Now, this is a perfect example of the consumer deciding that, you know what, I want to go with Tesla. Tesla's market share and their market value has skyrocketed to a ridiculously high amount. Okay? But that is the consumer making a decision. And that's totally reasonable, and I agree with you, Jared. My issue is now that the government's stepping in and said, well, these guys have all been sticking by us for so long. Let's meet with them and maybe give them a hand. Or you're going, now that's the problem.
Agreed.
Is government jumping in and standing there going, well, we don't want what the consumer's choosing. We want our guys. And you're going, no. This is the fine line between an actual capitalist organization that's run by a market and supply and demand versus people just trying to get their dicks wet in every possible way, which is what the government does. The government cannot create anything. They just suckle from the teat.
Correct. All they can do is take from something to put somewhere else. They don't create anything.
Nothing.
And you're right. That's exactly what I was saying. The solution isn't in the government. I understand that, they do have a function even in business. They do need to protect from theft, from fraud, from harm. But, as far as from that goes, other than that, protecting consumers from that, there's really not much else that they should be involved in. And that way, then, without making all these laws that favor, look at some of these huge banks. Why do you think all these small, savings and loans and depositories, of the past are completely gone?
Yeah.
That whole
priced out.
Remember. Well, not only that. Remember all those years ago, the bailouts to the banks. They only bailed out a handful of really big, huge motherfucking banks. Yeah. And then what did those banks do? They went and bought all the small ass banks up.
Yeah.
Why can't
and that's where
Ryan?
But then they want to start.
We can't hear you.
Then they want to start. Going at other companies for antitrust suits and this and that. But yet you create them.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is that's the one thing that they're supposed to be doing that they're not, is breaking up trust and monopolies. And when they try, they fuck it up anymore. They're just bad at it. We're getting a little endy here. What I wanted to say, this is not a new problem though. We keep using the term capitalism. We keep talking about current times. You got to remember, if you look back at your history, Rome was full of corruption, and they used to kill people over this. If you got too corrupt and you got too powerful and you started fucking with the masses would kill you and take their power back. I'm not saying I'm for that. I'm just saying this is not a capitalist thing. This is not a capitalist thing.
I'm a guillotine-ager.
This is a human thing. And I think that what's missing in capitalism is that responsibility that Ford had. Like, when you make it that big, you need to understand that you made it there by your consumers, and you owe a debt to your consumers.
Well, wait a second.
can't
There are
force
companies.
anybody to
There are companies that do that. Some of the ones that get bitched at the most are the ones that do the most of it. It's just not enough. Amazon being one of them.
Amazon takes care of their people pretty well.
First of all, Amazon kills small businesses. Like, they got caught literally looking on their website what sells
Sure,
well.
but dude,
And
I literally don't have a problem with that. That is a business decision. I cut my sales and marketing teeth in the car business back in the very early 90s. So I mean, I'm talking like in the the worst of it, the worst of what a car salesman was. Like, I have zero problems with looking up my competition, cross-shopping my competition, and then beating the shit out of their prices. I will lowball you like a motherfucker to drive you out of business. I have zero problems with that. That's business.
But here's the thing, though. Amazon owns the platform these things are sold on. So obviously, people are not going to go through 5 pages to figure out what they're going to buy. If they know what they want, they're going to go with.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't have I do not have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. That's strategy. It's how you play cards. It's how you play chess. It's how you live life. It's how you work a job and how you get a promotion. It's literally how you do everything. You do your recon and you meet your objective.
It's dishonest.
And no, it's not dishonest at all. It's
the
open.
reason I think it's dishonest is because
it'd only be dishonest if they hit it.
It would be like if the guy who owned the flea market went around and looked at what everything was that sold and decided to produce those things and sell them for cheaper than the people that have been paying him to keep his lights on.
But Amazon doesn't produce anything. They just find cheaper suppliers.
But that's the thing is that's what they're starting to do.
Okay, they're getting into that. Fine. I still don't have a problem with that.
That's actually just marketing research.
No, the problem is that they own the store.
You can't
as well.
adapt. You can't
and
adapt
control
that,
where
Jared.
things show up on search results.
Yeah, but people have a choice to go there.
No. Let's. I want to just Jared. How? Let's put a hypothetical.
And by no means. Wait. First thing, let me say, I'm not trying to preach that Amazon is the perfect fucking angel or anything.
Thank Christ.
But
I don't think
what they do in their communities that they work in. You want to talk about? I can tie it back to the show. You want to talk about the infrastructure they spend money on?
We could have
private money.
Alexa show.
Private money spent on public roads.
Poor Greg.
Stormwater.
Listen, Jared.
All right, let Ryan get his shit out because we're almost done.
Yeah,
we're gonna run a little long for our viewers. Thank you for sticking around. You guys are musical. Blah 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 blah. Okay, Jared. Direct question to you.
Yep.
Because this is the problem that I'm seeing that I don't know if you guys are seeing. So, Google, Amazon. Let's just use those examples, okay? They control the market now. They are the platform that you shop on. Let's say you're a small, let's just do a fan vendor. You are a company in Southern California that makes fans, and you have been listing your fans on Amazon, and you've been doing pretty well selling your fans on Amazon. But now Amazon decides that they're going to make your same fans, damn right, duplicate to your patent, almost exactly what you're selling. And they're going to sell that for $10 less than you because they can. How are you going to adapt?
Can I say something to that before Jared goes on a 20-minute
You are going to lose
rant?
a shitload. You are going to lose a good amount of people. But that happened to Toyota when Hyundai came into the market.
Let's take it one step further. Let's take it to what they're actually doing.
Okay. So then what did Toyota do? They didn't start making cheaper fans. They started showing that they can service you better, that they can take care of you better. If that's what you want to do, you have to sell yourself.
You're shopping on. But let's say they take it one step further, which is what they actually did to this fan company that I'm using as an example. Okay, you adapted to that $10 cut cheaper. Now we're going to sell at a loss. Because we can.
Right.
We're going to sell so that we're at a loss. We're making less than we actually build the fan for. Just to put you out of business. How are you going to adapt?
You're not. You're going to find a different thing to do.
Wait a minute. I gotta cut in on this because this is a totally bad example, and this is why, Ryan. We'll take Sugar Smacks. We all heard of the cereal Sugar Smacks, right? With the frog, everybody knows Diggum. Wait a second, Greg. So we hit Sugar Smacks. There is Puff Wheat, generic brand. There's generic brand, which is identical to the same thing. It's in a bag that is 5 times the size of the box for actually $2 or $1 less. Now probably $2 with inflation. But $2 less. That is the same thing of what you guys are talking about. There's always been a generic brand. There's always been
it is a little different. It is different.
I got this. Here's the difference with your example.
You don't got this.
They put the sugar snacks in the back of the store on the dock. You never even see them.
No, they don't.
You never even see them.
No.
No, but what if they did?
Oh, what if they
that
did?
is the difference. And they are right. It is different. These products are not sitting side by side on a shelf for you to look at.
Right.
No, because they control the platform. It's a monopoly. It's the definition of monopoly.
Right, but you have
understood.
the choice to be on that platform. It's just like shit on Facebook. I don't like the rules of Facebook. I don't like when I get booted off Facebook. But you know what? I broke their rules. Whether I like their rules or not, I still broke their rules. Go ahead, Greg.
Greg, you've been quiet the whole show. You have 5 minutes of time, man. Do whatever you want to do.
All right, so listen. Let me ask something. All right, the Amazon with the fans and everything else, okay? So you said somebody could sell it for $10 cheaper, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so why is not the other company figuring out how they could sell it at $10 cheaper than what they're selling it?
They're doing it to outbid that other person.
Right.
So they're using that information to manipulate the situation so that they can't compete, and when they can no longer compete, then they do what they normally do.
Yeah, but that's
so the difference is with regular competition. Well, no, see, this is the thing. So think about it this way: is that if you had Toyota, but Toyota ran all the dealerships,
right,
and Hyundai came in and said, "Hey, we have this car." Now Hyundai started outperforming at the Toyota dealerships. Toyota says, "Listen, you're doing a great job. We'd love to check out that, and maybe we could do some more business." And Hyundai says, "Hey, man, absolutely. Listen, now you can manufacture my cars at your plants even, okay? Because the fact is that Amazon will actually link you up with the manufacturer, send from the manufacturer to an Amazon fulfillment center, so you never even have to hold on to your product."
Correct.
It's very user-friendly. It's a very good opportunity for business. Right. And then they all of a sudden say, well, this essentially they're letting you take that risk with your new product, and then in turn, when it seems successful, going, so because we have a literal gajillion dollars, we're going to charge $10 less at a loss until you no longer can perform, or bury your listing past all of everything else we want, so you just doesn't get found out. And that's where you're going, nah, that's not okay. That's too far.
So ultimately, what you guys are saying, I want to understand what you guys are saying, right? So ultimately, you're saying that Amazon, I mean, besides how I got there, Amazon is offering a product $10 cheaper to the consumer, which is good, and you guys were bitching about, Amazon ain't doing nothing for the consumer.
Marco.
They just got a shitty way of doing it.
No, that's not it. Please listen to the second half of it. The second half of it is, they go, hey, we'll help you make money. What we'll do for you, instead of you having to deal with producing these fans to sell on our site, we will hook you up with a manufacturing facility that's going to sell them for you. Then when it gets successful and they see that you're making money off of it, then they go, and they take a fucking photocopy of your plans, minus one minute detail so that they're not breaking patent laws, produce their own fan, sell it for cheaper, and then when you search box fans, their fan shows up first. The company they stole it from shows up on page 275, and you never even search it. And they do that on purpose. They do it on purpose. They reel you in.
PlayStation and Xbox does, and
Marco.
Dude, this is what's been going on for years, dude.
You're only listening to it to speak. You're not listening to it to hear what's said.
No, I'm totally getting everything that's said, and you guys are totally not understanding. Like, this shit happened with Walmart, too. But now Walmart is like a staple of America.
That's what's wrong with America. That's what's broken.
Oh, my God.
No. What's wrong? You're right, because what's wrong with America is most of Americans went, I'd rather go to Walmart and, fuck it, instead of going to, I'd rather go to Home Depot instead of instead of Heckinger's.
Yeah.
I'd rather go instead of Tom's Building Supply, who I've known for 20 years. You know, yeah, I'm going to see him again at Christmas, but I'm going to go to Home Depot and save $3 on a bag of concrete. You chose to do that. You chose to put that company out of business because you chose to, whether it is taking advantage of a savings or not.
That's fine, but we're reaching this model. By the way, listen, please, if you're bored tonight, go look up Amazon Basics. I just gave you a real, like
Correct.
That literally happened.
Yeah.
To like 20 companies, and they
Probably more.
It happens every day, dude.
But it does happen
not
every
just
day.
Amazon, a bunch of companies.
It's been happening
the
But
way
what we're
it's been
saying,
done.
that's not competitive business.
Correct.
And
That is
market
not-
deciding. That's a scam. That's what it is.
When it is that blatant and it is set up exactly like that, then yes, 100%. That is dubious. That, you know, and there is probably some loophole that they are saving their ass on, but like that is one of those roles of the government to save the consumer from theft or fraud.
I like you, Jared.
They're not
I
doing
like
it.
Other than that, though, they
They're
shouldn't
not
be
doing it.
able to say what you can
But they're
set a
not
price
doing
at.
it.
What
They're
you
not
can.
doing it.
You're right. They're failing at that part. They're
Alexa,
failing
you
right
looked
there.
Like you had something to say for like you didn't raise your hand, but
The
I could
whole
just see
show.
it in your eyes that you had something. So you may have.
I was just gonna say after a while. I mean, we were talking about, consumers lowering prices. The benefits that capitalism is supposed to bring. Innovation. It actually ends up on aggregate. Eventually, you end up with higher prices and less innovation because they just kill all the other competition. So there's really no reason Amazon has to work hard for, creating bigger and better products at a cheaper rate. There's no reason for them to do it if they control the market.
Now, you're right there. Part of that though is what we produce, what we do. We have excelled and advanced technologically like so rapidly in the last handful of years compared to when we first started advancing, that innovation has gone so fast. It's like sometimes you kind of like, whoa, we're already here. What do we invent next? So there is kind of it's not like way back in the day where everything was new. Now there's been so much so fast that how can we do better?
Yeah, we're out of date.
Right,
That's what's happening. We're out of date.
and so you're right. We're
Out
not
of date,
advancing.
man.
We're not growing. But so what we're doing is the only way we can instead of having the next best product, so we can charge more and make more money and help society in some way, even if it's a minor value that it still gives back. We have to work with what we have and make it cheaper and make it consumable so that it wears out and they replace it, because we're not. Look, a lot of our household stuff.
That we have this argument we're having right now.
No.
Well, listen, this is way off topic, and I would love to talk about this again. I'd love to have Alexa back.
You sure we
The
can't
other
have
thing that you
Alexis back?
Why? She didn't get more than like 10 words in. Just saying.
I'm just gonna show up in a burqa next time so I can know my place.
There you go. There you
I'll wear
go.
one of those hijabs.
Tell him. Tell him. Oh shit. I'm sorry.
Maybe next week should be about automation and is it the devil?
No. Well, I'm going to touch on it on my What the Fuck show, but I want to get on the voter ID law. I want to know specifically. Somebody explain to me how it's racist.
It's not.
Nobody here can explain that. Are you crazy?
It's
You're the
not
most
racist.
foreign-looking person here.
It's not
How would
racist.
we-
At best, the best argument that you can make against it is that it attacks people at a socioeconomic level.
Hey.
It's not racist, but if you are under a certain, if you're in a struggling money category, I'm not agreeing with it, but I'm saying you can make an argument with it that way, because it doesn't matter if the argument is that black people can't afford to get a fucking ID. No, poor people can't. If you're making that argument, it's poor people can't afford to get a fucking ID.
Yeah.
No matter
It's
what color they are, no matter
economically
what race they are, no matter what religion they are, no matter what they are, if they don't have enough money, but.
From the research that I did,
IDs are...
every state that mandatory voter IDs there, they give free IDs. There is
then it's
even
not an
voter
issue.
IDs. You can
Right.
look up on YouTube how to get a fucking voter ID.
And most states even like I know Ohio's one of them, you're required to carry a photo ID over the age of 18 regardless.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a driver's license. It's got to be a state.
To get a driver's license. Like I said, to get in the venue the other day, I had to have an ID and a vaccination card.
Fuck that. Most states, when a cop asks you for your ID, you are required to at least give him your ID so he can have proof of who you are. Now, you don't have to do anything else after that if you're not.
Wrap it up, Jared.
Yeah,
but most states require an ID in general, period. So why are we arguing about it to come vote?
Well, here's
Wrap
why.
it up.
No, he wants to touch on it. We'll touch on it. It's not racist, but it's not about voter IDs. It's about suppression. That's why they keep talking about it. It's not about having to show your ID at the polls. You've always had to do that. What it's about is, you know what, we're going to.
If you always had to do it, how is it suppressing anything?
If we're going to give this county of 5 million people one polling station. That
has nothing to do with voter ID.
Correct.
Okay, Marco.
It doesn't have anything to do with voter ID. That is voter suppression.
Yeah, but that's gerrymandering. There's a lot of factors.
Correct, but it's not voter ID.
That has nothing to do with the voter ID.
Smoke. Is it smoke?
Yeah.
We all look. You had to show your ID to vote. That's not racist. That's not new.
Exactly.
Marco, will you let?
Right.
Oh
I'm agreeing with you.
Margo.
I'm agreeing with you, and you won't shut the fuck up.
Yes.
It's goddamn infuriating.
I love it.
Fuck y'all, motherfuckers.
It's the funnest part of my day.
Ryan.
There's no voter ID. There's no voter ID crisis in this. What happens is they go, oh, there's all this voter ID. There's all this fraud, and you guys don't look at the actual suppression. That's what it's about. It's smoke to distract you from what they're actually doing. That's all voter ID is. Oh my God, there's people showing up to the polls without their ID and voting. They won't get a ballot. It doesn't work like that. It never has. I am going to wrap the show now. I love you all so much. I can't handle 6 of you. We might just let Dino co-host the next episode.
What?
Yeah. No.
Am I getting thrown under the bus?
Or Alexa, because apparently I don't let anyone talk ever. I'm the worst host on cable television.
Wow.
I'm your host, Ryan. Let's go ahead and get to our sponsors one last time. First and foremost, go ahead, Alexa.
I love going down to Ohio City Barbecue. That's right, Ohio City Barbecue. Now, if y'all just mentioned that y'all saw us on Eargasm, yins get 15% off. That's right, 15% off at Ohio City Barbecue. I'm going to go get me some right after this show.
Woo! Don't forget to check out Brick and Equity. I thought you were still going. I'm sorry. Brick and Equity, 216-306-I-BUY, 216-675-SELL. Buy a home, sell a home. Get your first self-directed IRA. Listen, if you don't have any idea what to do with your retirement and you're a millennial and you don't know what to do, look into IRAs and quit being stupid. Moving on, you know what? And that's not financial advice. I'm not legally allowed to give you financial advice. Disclaimer, whatever. Okay. You never settle apparel. Ryan 20 off. You can get a discount there. And finally, first and foremost, listen, guys, I'm working 13-hour shifts to put this show on. I'm sorry if I'm rude. I'm just tired. Go to our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You can help me quit one of my 4 jobs. That's right, 4 fucking jobs. $3 a month. Go support the show. Also, with those 4 jobs, I'm giving you guys $50. So all of you cast members, because fuck it, our viewers don't want to win. Go to the Eargasm Comedy Showcase tonight. Invite your friends to like the page, and we will draw someone at random. Just send in a screenshot. Our goal from January this year was to get to 2,500 followers to do a free barbecue. I was going to do that for the people. It's now cold outside and we can't have a barbecue. But let's hit it, and I'll throw a free barbecue next summer. Okay? We had a goal of 10,000 followers this year. It's not happening. So get your asses up, get over to our page, and help us meet our goals in the 4th quarter. Look at me being a capitalist. $50.
I'm going to send you want ads so you can get a 5th job.
I'd probably take it too, because I'm such a lazy millennial that doesn't work and doesn't earn my wage, and just all the things that Marco hates. I'm that guy.
You know what's
Anyways,
awesome? Like 10 years ago, when it was okay for a Mexican or a Jamaican to have fucking 4 or 5 jobs, nobody bitched. But now that the white dude needs to work fucking 2 jobs, he has a goddamn fit.
All I know is if we don't end this goddamn show quick, I'm gonna be taking a piss right here. So let's do this. Let's wrap this up.
I thought the guy in the front that hasn't spoke the whole show had his hand up.
No.
No.
Thank you for joining us, good sir. Anyways, join us next week. We will touch on. I don't think we're going to touch on Voter again, but we'll touch on something. We'll touch on Marco. It'll be weird for the whole studio
I'm
over
not
there.
touching Marco.
They'll all have to stroke his head. It'll be good.
I
That's
don't know about
harassment,
all that.
and it's not okay in the workplace, Ryan. It's not okay.
Nope.
Sponsor us
And that's
on
coming from,
Patreon, y'all,
like,
so
the
Ryan
Canadian.
can be less cranky.
We'll give him 7 jobs. Just
Yeah,
to mess
because,
him
you
up.
know, he's worth too much to go get a real job.
That's right.
I literally work for a mortgage company. What else? Do you want me in the fields picking potatoes? Is that how you like? Do you want full Russian socialism? Like I'm just a Slav in some village somewhere,
Yep,
freaking
that's
pulling
exactly
onions
right.
out of the
Amazon's
ground?
hiring.
Yeah, Amazon's hiring.
Yeah. Amazon 100% wants to have a potato factory in the near future. 100%. They're gonna put the potato giants out
Yeah, I
of
think
business. Just
Monsanto
you
got
wait.
that shit wrapped up.
Amazon Basics.
Amazon Basics Potato Edition.
She
All right,
was-
wrap this
that
shit
it?
up. Hey, check
I've
out
been
What the
waiting.
Fuck Wednesday. You bastard.